Oliver and Company, yes, that is the one. Oliver and Company. The one with the, you know, Why Should I Worry, Why Should I Care song. He's jumping around on a bunch of, like, steel girders and stuff. Oh, the Aristocats? Yeah, and I guess 1001 Dalmatians could be one, too. All Dogs Go to Valhalla, Lady and the Rogue, Orgrak and Company. So these are the fantasified versions. I have not seen Balto. Alright, well, you know what? If we have our inspiration and we are thinking these thoughts, Balto's good. I'll have to take your word for it. Honestly, Disney hadn't been doing it for me since probably after Lion King. Like, Aladdin, my jam. Lion King, really good. After that, and just with the acquisition of all this other stuff, and yeah. I don't know who that is, Alzy. I mean, what is good anyway, right? New Monica spotted the subtext to Lady and the Tramp. If cartoons are dead to me, then don't look in my library. Halsey, jeez. I may be coming across as cynical, but maybe not that cynical. Jeez. I just have a healthy skepticism. Jeez. Well, now that apparently I'm ruining childhoods, let's make some non-anthropomorphic dog characters for a fantasy storytelling game. Well, I guess if you want to say it is a, you know, what is paper but a bunch of tombstones to trees? And you know, so I have a physical, like a written thing of graphic novels and mangers, and of course then I have in the media room outside of the library, I have a bunch of Blu-rays and DVDs of the Animus and other movies that I felt were that I felt were good enough to purchase for to have a physical copy. The mangers and the Animus, you know, them Chinese cartoonies. Now, I would like to point something out to you all. This may well be the last week that you see this spreadsheet be used. That is right, everyone. This may be the last, well, not tonight. Tonight and tomorrow may very well be the last time you see our time-honored random character generator be used here. And so we are going to... That's a very good question, Evelyn. And I'm sure that there's going to be an answer to that. Nick Direct, new and approved. Oh, yes. New and improved. Yeah, in a sense, perhaps. But I don't want to give away too much. No answer yet, or just a surprise. There will be an answer, and you will get that answer on Wednesday, the 17th, which just so happens to be the best song in the world. It was the best song in the world. And by that I mean, it's the third Wednesday of the month. That means it is going to be our April mini raffle. And so not only will I be raffling away boxes of minis based on the number of subscribers to the channel, because look, your support of the channel goes back through into the community. I will reveal how we will be building characters, perhaps for the next year and beyond. Yeah, of course there are Chinese cartoons there, Black Wolf. It's, you know, what was it they made overseas and they got shipped over on them container boats. The 17th is also the end of my exams. Oh, so winning all the way around. And after Tuesday, well, yeah, well, because I'm not going to feature a character builder on Tuesday. Tuesday's for the role playing. And by the way, remember, it is called role playing, not role playing. But yes, there's a bunch of little improvements across the board. As you saw, bada boom, huh? How about that new title art? You know, and then we swap back here. Little improvements all around, right? Continuous improvement. CI, continuous improvement. Something that hopefully we can all do. Oh, you like the bit cup? I'm glad. I do want it to be kind of fun and interactive. Biddy gets nom-noms, and in fact, you know what? The person who is going to be providing some voice work for Biddy wasn't able to do so. And so Biddy was going to be, speaking of little things, Biddy was going to have a voice that people, every time people donated bits, was going to have different phrases to be said at different tiers. And so I will be reworking on that, and I will be getting some other voice talent, hopefully, to try and bring other aspects of the channel to life when various events occur. Unless you're playing Low Life where pastries are available as PCs, then you can play a role. Oh, well, you know what? What I'll probably do then, Nictorac, is when I have an idea of what I want for the other characters, then I can put out sort of a talent call. Maybe I'll do that in Talent for Hire, and then see what can be done. All right. Well, why don't we get into it? Huh? Character creation is going to be kind of the same for what we're doing. There are a couple differences when we get to race and when we get to race. Well, they're all going to be dogs. So really, we're going to be rolling for what the sub-race is going to be. A big dog, a regular dog, or a lap dog. And from there, there's these different breed abilities. And I think some of them are much stronger than others. And so for this, I'm probably just going to roll randomly as well. To try and add some definition and to bring this character to life in some way. We could probably make this a little bigger, huh? Not quite. Almost. There we go. Yes, there is a Corgi. It is... The one provided here is a Corgi Warlock. The module needs more cats. The module hints at cats coming up in some other supplement. For example, there's a miniature concept for Sonia, the Maine Coon fighter, and Indy, the ragdoll bard. All right, so we have that. Let's start filling in some things here. All right. Do we have a female character, a male character, or are we going to go multi-class? Let's roll a percentile and find out. 78. We are a male doggo. Our race is dog. And specifically, let's roll a D3 to find out what our sub-race is going to be. 2, a regular dog. Now, as we're developing the character, if you all have a notion for which breed of dog you think would fit this kind of a character, I'm open to suggestions. However, regular dogs, the most common size, tend to be known for energy and hail sturdiness. This includes spaniels, bulldogs, and many crossbreeds. Right, so to show off the range, we have Mastiffs, St. Bernards, and Alsatians that are large dogs or big dogs. Spaniels, Bulldogs, many crossbreeds, this would probably be things like Labs also, would be regulars. And then we have Lap Dogs. And those are them Chihuahuas, Terriers, and Maltese. So we're going to look for some sort of a breed of a regular dog. One of the proud warrior race of Rottweilers, says Pneumonica. I like Huskies, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see, Zebra, and maybe we get a Husky vibe. Maybe we don't. They totally miss a naming opportunity with Dungeons and Doggos. Would a Corgi count as a regular or lap? Azrael says Pug life forever. Pug is definitely a lap dog. Corgi... Corgis are lapdogs. I expect a Pomeranian Bard at some point. Well, you know, you say that, and while there is a Spaniel Bard, there was a Pomeranian. Oh, there's the Husky Paladin. There we go. The Pomeranian Monk, named Nightingale, as an example character. Although a much better picture of Nightingale is... There we go. Look at that. Alright, so keep different dog breeds in mind. And we're going to continue. Ah, keeps resizing. Our doggo's alignment, we're going to determine with a 2 percentile sets. 4779. That's going to be neutral, chaotic neutral. So, rather impulsive. And looks out for himself before others, but isn't necessarily, isn't entirely selfish about it either. The level at which we'll generate this character is... We rolled an 88. Ooh, level 19. Now, we have 5 possible stat bumps that we can take. I'm going to roll a percentile set and find out how many of those we replace with feats. I rolled a 71, just shy of taking a feat. Now, there are special doggo feats, and I want at least one character to show some of them off. And so by the time, if neither of the characters tonight roll that randomly, we're going to introduce some to make sure that we're exploring it. We're going to introduce some feats tomorrow in our characters there. But we're going to take all stat bumps for this character, and that's fine. All dogs are lawful good, says Azrael. Coffee, you think Mordecai is chaotic good? Astral better have 4 feet. Oh, you want a Shetland? Black Wolf? We'll see. We'll see what we get. I mean, I don't have a list of breeds, but I mean, we'll develop the personality. All we know is it's a regular dog. Now, there is a special background that comes with this supplement, and that is the awakened animal background. I will roll a 14-sided die. It's normally 13. But we'll roll a 14 and see if we randomly get it. And if we don't get it in our 2 characters tonight, then we'll make sure it manifests tomorrow, so that way we can see that background in action. All right, so 14-sided die. Let's roll for the background, and 10. A sage. All right. Background is a sage. Now, a sage... there are 8 different kinds of sages that are proposed in the player's handbook. Of course, I mean, if you want to be something different, talk to your DM about it. But apparently we are sage number 1 going by the book. I don't know what that means, but right now it's a placeholder, and that's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. 2d8 for personality traits. 6 and 1. And then 3d6 for the other aspects of the Char Actor. Ideal bond and flaw is 3, 6, and then 5. Now it's time to roll for the class. There is not a new class. There are class options, or there are class feats specifically in this supplement, but it's no new classes or subclasses. And so I'm going to hit this big golden D12 and find out what our sage-like regular dog is going to be. I rolled a 10. We have a sorcerer. We have a sage sorcerer. And now I will roll the D12 again, and depending on odds or evens, that is going to give us either a Draconic Bloodline or a Wild Magic. Odds is Draconic Bloodline. And if we don't want it to be Draconic, we could replace it with something else. If you want to make an animal, you can call it like a purebred bloodline. And because, because you have the... this pure blood of your ancestors, that could give you the sorcerer's powers. If you think it's cool and you want to stick with dragons, sure. We can put some draconic features on our doggo. The Wu is here. Hello, Dark Wolf. A little convenient you're showing up on a Dungeons and Doggies character creation night, huh? A little too convenient, if you ask me. And of course we have to share in the Awu with an Awu. There we go. Not gonna worry about the physical traits because we can look that stuff up depending on the breed of the dog. There is something that we can roll that is important. I'm going to roll percentile to find out how old is this character. We rolled a 32, so we have a young adult. So this could very well mean that our character is maybe, I don't know, no older than 4 or 5. So they reach like physical maturity at like 18 months. So if we say between 2 and 5, so I'll roll a D3. Alright, so we have a young adult doggo that is 5 years old. And I'm not going to worry about the rest of this stuff because it's not necessary. Alright, we do not need this guide anymore for this character. What's the definition of sorcerer? Azrael, in Dungeons and Dragons, sorcerers cast their magic inherently. It's a part of them. Think of it almost like a mutant power, right? Cyclops can shoot laser beams out of his eyes. He just does that. It's a part of his genetics. It's a part of his DNA. It's just a part of him. You know, Jean Grey has her psychic abilities. Superman is Mary Sue. Is you know, just intrinsically the best at everything and can't be defeated no matter what. But you get what I'm saying. And so that's how a sorcerer interacts with magic. They just enact magic. They conjure magic themselves. It's inherent because it's a part of their genetics, or they have just the ability to resonate with magic and filter it through themselves in some way. Oh, yes, I'm sorry, O'Sheeps. A Marty Stew, not a Mary Sue. That's true. So I hope that makes sense. So wizards need to study the components of the spells, and it's more like reading a math book and then going through the exercises, and when you solve the problem, the spell resolves. Sorcerers just cast their magic because it's a part of them. All right. I like to begin the exploration of the character with the background first. And the reason for that is I want to know who our character is. What the character does, it's nice to know, but this is, to bring this around to you, Black Wolf, in the writing channel, I want to show who our character is. I don't want to tell what our character is. A lot of us are tempted to talk about our characters in D&D otherwise and saying, I have a male wood elf, barbarian. Okay, so that doesn't tell me anything about the character. What did your character grow up doing? What was a hobby? What are your character's thoughts on religion? Where does your character live? With the rest of the Wood Elves? Was he exiled? What happened? And so, if we go to the background first, it's unconventional to how the player's handbook has you generate a character. For what we do here, because we want to know our characters. We want our characters to be living and breathing entities. Yes, we're pulling them from the ether and we're manifesting them in front of us. I want to know more about our characters. The fact our character is a sorcerer, that's fine. That's cool. But do I care that our character is a sorcerer? Not as much as I care that we have a character who is a sorcerer and not a sorcerer that is a character. Does that? I hope that makes sense. And I don't say that to you to single you out, Black Wolf. That's a rhetorical to myself as much as any of you out there. Who is your character? Why do they exist in this world? So let's start here and find out. Sage. We are going to get some things. Arcana and History will be some proficiencies that we have. There we go. Languages, 2 of our choice. So we're going to know Common. Doggos get 2 others. And so we'll just put this as D1 and D2. And then we'll get Sage 1 and Sage 2. So we have a multilingual doggo. We're going to get some starting equipment down here. A bottle of ink. I'm just going to scoot this over a bit. Bottle of ink. A quill. A small kniff. Now, is that something like a little pocket knife? Is that something that your DM might just count as a dagger? You know, talk to your DM. It could be a letter opener. It's actually kind of blunt, and you just use it to open envelopes. You know, here, sure. We'll do a small knife, which is a dagger. And a letter from a dead colleague posing a question you have not yet been able to answer. Oof. That's a mouthful, and apparently every sage has a dead colleague posing this. Now, does every sage have a dead colleague posing a question like this? Not necessarily, but this is a great prompt. This is to get you to think about a mystery, something that you're trying to reveal, something you're trying to discover, something you can bring into the story that will be presented to you by your dungeon master. This can also be, if not a letter or from a dead colleague, this could be a trinket. Perhaps it was something that was found or excavated that has you curious. And so if we want to do that, if we come down here, let's give this doggo a trinket of some kind. And we'll roll that in a little bit. So I'm going to put trinket, question mark, question mark. How big does a dagger need to be before it becomes a sword? And how small does a sword need to be a dagger? I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure there's, Azrael, you might have an official measurement. That could very well be the case, you know, based on law, you know, laws of different states or countries, based on some military code. And what you just explored, O'Sheeps, whether you knew it or not, is something called the heap paradox. H-E-A-P, the heap paradox. And if you're like, what is the heap paradox? I'll let you discover. So we're going to get a mysterious trinket that we're going to try and discover aspects about here. We're going to also get a set of common clothies. And a belt pouch, or in this case, I don't know, like a collar pouch. But I'll just put belt pouch with 10 gupas in it. GP, gold pieces. Pneumonica says, for legal definitions, look to the law. For fighting definitions, it depends. There's no actual strict definition of the length of blades. Dagger, short sword, long sword. They're all one-handed blades of some indefinite length. Now, our specialty as a sage, we rolled number 1. And it is now time to discover what that means. We are an alchemist. Alright, so we are an alchemist sorcerer. Well, and here's the thing, too. And actually, 3rd edition D&D took this interestingly, when for a medium-sized creature, a greatsword was a long sword to a large-sized creature. A long sword was a short sword, and a short sword was a dagger. Now, it dealt damage, but it was handled mechanically. Like, if you had proficiency with those weapons, if you're a large character, a two-handed sword for a medium creature is a one-handed sword for you. And so you would deal the damage of a great sword, but it would be considered a long sword for you. And conversely, if you scale down, a short sword for a medium creature would be a long sword for a small character. A long sword for a medium creature would be a great sword for a small creature. Nictorak, I have not. No, I've done very little interaction with D&D Beyond. It's not out of any sort of protest or the like. I just haven't done it. If I'm a brownie and I have an 18-inch sword, that's gigantic. Exactly, O'Sheeps. I made an error up there. Long swords are two-handed. Arming swords are one-handed. My mistake. Pneumatica, literally unforgivable. This is 2019. You have to qualify all... you have to, like, qualify and or accelerate all of your statements with literally. Literally, you do. Literally hyperbole. Alright, let's continue with this character. Our background feature is researcher, which it does what it sounds like. If you need to discover information, then this is a good... It's not a shortcut. Doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get the info. Oh, are you going to come up and say hi to people? Hey, come on. But it makes it easier for you to find the knowledge because you know where to look. Now, whether or not that ancient library still exists or is even accessible, that's another matter, but at least you know that it's out there and generally where you can find info. Hey, don't just paw at me. Come on. Jump up. Say hi to people. There we go. I have a pro subscription I can share with you. It'll let you use all the content character builders. I appreciate it, although hang on to that for now, Nick Direct, because next week I'm going to be debuting the character creator that's replacing the one that we're currently using for the spreadsheet. And I want to give that a go first and get your all's opinion on that. When I do the cat stuff, it'll have to get released first, but sure, we can use the cats here as a model. It's buried in the sands, guarded by an elitist owl spirit. D&D Beyond is awesome, to be honest. I have heard good things, Zebracorn. I have. I really liked kind of an equivalent to that in 4th edition, which was the character generator and then the D&D compendium. I thought that was really good, and it super supported 4th edition. So, I appreciate the invitation, Nick Direct. Hang on to that for just a little bit, though, first. All right, what is our doggo's personality? Well, let's find out. We rolled number 6 and number 1. Number 6 is I speak slowly when talking to idiots, which almost everyone is compared to me. And number 1, I use polysyllabic words that convey the impression of great erudition. So polysyllabic words spoken very slowly. As many talk slowly to us for reading, but funnier my way. I got you, Pneumatica. Yeah, this is a very cocky dog. Thank you, Nick Direct. Thank you. Yeah, the kitty's just off camera here. A cocky spaniel. Now, what is our character's ideals? Number 3. Logic. Emotions must not cloud our logical thinking. Now, that says lawful in parentheses. Oh, buddy. No, I don't want you falling off again. I already have a clip of that. All right, thank you. However, the minis have been blessed, everyone. So, yay. How about that? And you may say, well, look, that says lawful. And we have a chaotic neutral character. How does that work? It can work very well. This is meaning that he's impulsive in his thinking. It's not that he's illogical. He just has so many thoughts going through his mind that it's a bit of a grab bag about what ends up getting blurted out. Slowly and methodically at that. Our character's bond is number 6. I sold my soul for knowledge. I hope to do great deeds and win it back. Is this a literal selling of one's soul? Or is this just a metaphor for, you know what, I had a family and kids, but I spent a lot of long nights in the laboratory, and, you know, my wife left me and took the kids because I sold my soul to science in a metaphorical sense. I was married to my job and not to my wife, kind of a thing. No, hey, stop. Get out of here. Those are crusts. You don't even want crusts. Great, now we're going to put the crust because he's going to... I want to get cat aggro on them. There. And you know what, Nick Direct? Ding, 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 ding. I think that we have found how this person came to be a talking doggo. Not only is he an alchemist, and then not only can he channel magic through his body, maybe as a part of the deal, you know, he had to give up his body in the deal. And so he found a way to put himself into this could have even been his pet. Or it could have been a stray that was in the laboratory. And then he sort of used this exchange. So he gave up his body, and maybe he hopes to get that back. I mean, because we can also have... Oh, Grace of Darkness, thank you so much. I very much appreciate that that re-up. And that's a reminder that for this coming Wednesday's miniature raffle, the amount of boxes I give away back to you all, the full boxes, you get all 4 figures, is dependent on the number of subscribers to the channel. And so it's not just, you know, a thank you from me, but there are others out there who can thank you should they be fortunate enough to win a box. Nick Direct. What's our character's flaw? Number 5. I speak without really thinking through my words, invariably insulting others. That could have been how he even got into this whole mess. That's too obvious, though, Black Wolf. All right. Now you see what we've done. We don't even know the species of the dog. In all honesty, and while we know it's a male dog, does that necessarily have a bearing on anything we've discovered about our dog's personality? We now have some boundaries in the sand, right? Lines in the sand that now we can really help develop and refine the concept of this character as we now continue to add layers of details. But we didn't worry about the details first. I don't care which spells we give this doggo right now. I mean, ultimately, yeah, the spells are going to be an extension of who he is. But right now, do I care about hit points? No. Do I care about his stats? No. Do I care about his inventory? Maybe outside of the trinket, because that could be some sort of a clue, you know, a role-playing aspect. Do I care that he has a bottle of ink or 10 gold pieces? Not really. They are parts of the character, but they do not define it. We have defined our character. Our character now has character, if that makes sense. So moving from here, let's find out who our dog is. What happens in this body? Increase your charisma by 1. So we're going to put a little floating 1 down here. We already have age, alignment. We have our size. We're a medium-sized creature. Our base speed is 30 feet. So 15 climb, 15 swim, 0 fly. Languages, you can speak and read common and 2 extra languages of your choice. Note that dogs do not necessarily use speech. Whilst they can understand their chosen languages, the specifics of how they communicate are left to the players. Some possibilities include having the full ability of speech, being uncannily effective at conveying meaning through gesture and sounds, like, I think she's saying the kids are down the well, or having another character who can understand and interpret for the dog. Regardless of how the dog expresses itself, it is assumed that it is communicating with its allies. So in this case, we might even be able to say in the body can't naturally speak the languages that this person knew in life. Well, not that they're undead, but in their prior incarnation. And maybe they have to use a cantrip, and they speak through the cantrip. So you get a bit of like a Mr. Ed effect. Keen senses. Dogs have advantages on perception checks based on smell or hearing, and disadvantage on perception checks depending upon color recognition. Now, in Wednesday's video, I kind of hem-hawed on this point. I'm simply going to say that we have, well, I guess you could say proficiency if you want. It's technically advantage on perception checks. But then, so it's like advantage on 2, not advantage on sight, but disadvantage specifically for coloration. If it's easier to just say, look, you're proficient in this, that could be a very good summary. If you want to do it differently at home, that's fine, but frankly, I'm just going to hit the radio button and fill in this option for keen senses. Best friend. Dogs may cast the Charm Person spell using Charisma as the spellcasting ability once per long rest. No components are necessary. The DC for this ability is 8 plus your Charisma modifier. And see, this is another thing that was odd, because there's a lot of tweaks that are needed in this document. That aren't just spelling and grammar. So for example here, it just says 8 plus your charisma modifier, when normally it's 8 plus proficiency plus spellcasting. So in this case, was the proficiency excluded for a particular reason, or are we somehow not proficient with a spell that's intrinsic to us per our race? And so what I would do here is I would come down and I would put best friend, charm person once per long rest, off of charisma, but I wouldn't play it like this. I would include the proficiency. Worse than the bark. You have a natural bite attack. You are proficient with this attack, and it counts as both a weapon attack and an unarmed attack. Which you could probably do some interesting things with feats, because it does count as a weapon attack. Including, well, this is something to think about as well. Is this technically a light weapon, such that you could get you could use a bonus action to make an offhand attack with your bite? This doesn't say it counts as a light weapon, just that it is a weapon. And this is why having the language tight in any document that you are producing or any sort of homebrew rules is important. Because if there's enough errors elsewhere, that could leave room for doubt that something could have been meant to be used in a different way. And this could cause conflict at the tabletop, because I could make the case that a bite could just be a quick like a nip. It could be a bonus action, because it's a part of me. Why wouldn't it be a light weapon, right? Like a dagger. At the same time, as a DM, I could say it doesn't say it's a light weapon. And so while I understand, I'm playing rules as written. In which place the character can say, right, but rules as written have you being intrinsically magical and not being proficient with the magic that's a part of you. And you see where this goes. And correct, could bite be considered, does it have to be strength? Could it be a dex attack, right? Just kind of like a speed bite instead of like, you know, getting the teeth in there. So if we go off of this, you know, like an unarmed strike is strength based. Monks are the ones who get the option to use dexterity. So I mean, if we do this, then you know we could say strength. Now, if you look at other characters, for example, bunny folk, if you play with the boys over at D&D time, bunny folk have a kick attack that is a part of their racial build. And Pete and Jeremy have allowed for you to choose if you want the kick attack to be dex or strength based. Here, we're presuming that it has to be strength based. All right, so this is the basic dog, you know, loadout. Now, because we are a regular dog, our strength score increases by 1. And once per long rest, when you are reduced to 0 hit points, you may immediately roll a hit dice to heal that many hit points. And that would be presuming you have any left. In this case, they probably... They probably could have just used the half-orc ability and phrased it pretty much as that, instead of having it rely on hit dice. This is just being nitpicky, though. This is all in the spirit of fun. We're making dog characters, so... Oh no, I've been kind of like darting back and forth between the character and chat, Black Wolf. So I'm sorry if I'm not pointing those out specifically. Exactly, like a half-orc's relentless endurance. That would probably be a better substitute. And you know, this is something, especially as someone who's created custom races for 5th edition. This is a trap that's very easy to fall into, where you feel compelled to make a bunch of unique stuff, when you really don't have to. There's nothing wrong with dipping into a trait that another race uses. You know, if you want to rename it, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, though. Oh, sheeps, an ogre pounces out. You attack with disadvantage. Even with disadvantage, though, look at that. You needed a 10 or greater, and you smash that ogre with a 16. Dark Wolf, if you are out there, can you give 100 experience points to Oh Sheeps? Oh Sheeps is OP. Actually, I want to keep this because we are going to be getting now 2 of these breed abilities, which are ways to customize your doggo. That it's kind of a rider on the race and sub-race, which I actually think this is a cool idea. All of these aren't exactly, I mean, some I think are very powerful, and some are just like, I get it. I don't know if anyone would willingly take it beyond a thematic commitment. Well, let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We have 22 different options, and we get 2 of them on character creation. And if we do take feats, this allows for us to take one of these as a replacement for a feat. So let's see which 2 we're going to be taking. Whoops. 22, and we need 2 of them. Let's try this again. 1 and 19. All right, so specifically for our, we're going to get some breed abilities. And the first one is going to be an assistance dog. You are gifted at guiding others. You can nominate a creature within 5 feet of you as a bonus action. Whilst in this range, it benefits from your keen senses trait as if it had possessed the trait itself. So in that case, see, for assistance dog, because it grants advantage, assistance dog is simply allowing you to take the help action and making it a bonus action specifically for perception. Is that good? It very much could be. I'm sure you could find uses for it, but is it going to be as strong as other options? Probably not. All right, so we have an assistance dog in number 19, so if our final one was 22, 22, 21, 20, and 19. Sprinter. You are built for bursts of impressive speed. Increase your base movement by 10 feet. When you use the dash action, you can ignore the first opportunity attack you would provoke. Which, you know, a good chunk of the time, it's going to be the only one you provoke. So this is pretty good. Hey, TJ. Have we had a druid yet? No, this is the first character that we've made this week. I took last night off, TJ. Why not the mobile feat? I agree, and that's what we kind of went over on Wednesday. But at this, while it allows you to fill in another, doggy trait instead of a feat. It's a one-way road, and so you could say, you know, this could be replaced by mobile, or if mobile is better, then allowing for a character to have possibly 2 feats if we get into too much of a replacement, either feat, power equivalent, or the like, then having a character that starts with 2 feats, or feat power equivalents could be, I don't know, maybe make things a little wonky in terms of the power scale. So mobile is better, and so this is kind of a lesser version. Maybe because it has to be a little bit lesser. So people might not take Sprinter except as another way to increase your speed further. So if we were a Sprinter and we took mobile, or if we were mobile and took Sprinter, that would give us even more speed. Presumably to just stack it. For a Circle of the Shepherd. Well, so we won't roll Shepherd because we're just sticking to the player's handbook, but wouldn't that be fun? All right, so here we go. We have our Sage Alchemist, regular dog. We haven't decided the dog breed. Who is a Draconic Bloodline or something else thematically compatible sorcerer. And we don't need to worry about any of these class feats. Which, by the way, if this doesn't melt your heart, I don't know what will. A slobbering St. Bernard with a little pupper St. Bernard, keeping a chicken warm, and then the little chick is on top of the blanket. You would have to be some kind of monster not to smile at this. That's right, I said it. You are literally a monster. Exactly, oh sheeps. What CR? Are we negotiating now, Pneumatica? Jeez. Alright, now it's time to actually put the sorcerer part of this character into play. Actually, you know what? Before that, let's roll that trinket real quick. Because this could be a part of the character. This could be a part of the story. How they became an alchemist, or a sage, or a sorcerer, or the whole selling of the soul. Is this the little like totem or fetish that the spirit that's holding onto the body or the soul of this person, maybe it resides within it. Roll a percentile. 81. What is an 81? Why, it so happens that trinket number 81, there we go. A purple handkerchief embroidered with the name of a powerful archmage. A purple handkerchief embroidered with the name of a powerful archmage. Does this stuff not write itself, everyone? Do you see what just letting, you know, chaos flow through us does? Azrael says, I smiled at being called a monster. Does that count? Pneumatica is really pushing it tonight after the whole mishap with the sword and now this. I just had a thought for a character, a descendant of St. George being a Draconic Bloodline Sorcerer. Mordenkainen made himself a doggo. And there we have Maddie's catchphrase, bingo. Mordenkainen. A purple handkerchief embroidered with the name of a powerful archmage. Okay, let's go to Sorcerer. Oh, hibbity jibbity, look at this. We have 19 levels. 19 levels of stuff to build, which, honestly, for a Sorcerer, we're not going to be here for another hour. Maybe if we're picking every single spell, but we're not going to with the exercise. Not now, anyway. We can come back and do it. I don't mind. We have 19 because we're level 19. D6 because that's our hit die for this class. 19 D6 hit die. No armor proficiencies, but we do get some weapon proficiencies. Daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaffs, and light crossbows. No tool proficiencies. if you're building a character like this, you might want to bargain with your DM and say, look, if I'm an alchemist, can I get alchemy tool proficiency, please? I'm willing to trade one or both my sage languages for it, but I think it's appropriate. Maybe your DM will say yes. Something to keep in mind. Saving throws, Constitution and Charisma. There we go. And skills, choose 2 from Arcana, Deception, Insight, Intimidation, Persuasion, and Religion. Well, we have Arcana. And from what we're getting at with the personality, because I want this, and I would encourage you all to, you know, the next time you build a character, choose your skills based on your character, based on your personality. And don't base it on talking to the other players and saying, boy, no one has history? I guess I'm going to take history. Because that's, you know, it's a little disingenuous, and if your character is not historical, it's fine if the party doesn't have someone who can cover history. You know, play true to your character. But with this, I speak slowly and I use polysyllabic words. You know, is trying to act as a more of a logical thinker, someone who sold my soul for knowledge. I think intimidation is going to be a proficiency. And outside of that, I don't know about persuasion. I don't know. Speak without really thinking through, invariably insulting others. That doesn't seem too persuasive. Religion could be, especially if we're talking about selling one's soul and doing some, maybe some religious research. Something like that might make a lot of sense. Or, if you don't like that, if you don't like religion, you could always try using deception so that he can pass himself off as a dog, or he can try and pass himself off as a human if he's disguised or otherwise maybe uses some illusion magic to appear as a human, even though he's a dog, even though he's not a dog. Oh, that sounds... what kind of cookies, Nictorek? What kind of cook? Come on, you gotta tell me. I mean, they're clearly no-bakes, but... It's probably not going to be too persuasive. I agree. Very cranky. Now, he's a young adult, so he's probably a bit of a prodigy. You know, like, well, I have these skills and I know everything. I mean, look, for a dog, he's 5 years old. And if that's not a know-it-all phase of life. Sugar and chocolate. Oof. Whew, that sounds good. O'Sheep says, my stupid barbarian from a rural village is proficient in, checks notes, history? So this is a canine fantasy Wesley Crusher then. I suppose, but instead of being like a pilot or a helmsman, we have an alchemist. So you know what I'm thinking here? We have a sorcerer's apprentice kind of a thing, right? Someone who's studying under this archmage, who could have very well been a wizard. Maybe wizard and sorcerers work together, or even was studying to be a wizard, but, you know, was this young man, thought he knew better than what the wizard or whomever had something to say, mixed some things together that ought not have, and ended up as a doggo. And in so doing, maybe part of the alchemy or this was involved dragon's blood, which infused this person with magic. So I think we can have an intelligent sorcerer who is probably studying to become a wizard, but due to this accident, was infused with this magical blood and became a sentient dog. You think that works? Yeah, Black Wolf, I'd go for those cookies too. Let's see, cantrips known. Whew, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our spell slots are 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. We can cast a 9th level spell, everyone. You know what that means? Whew. Don't upset this doggo. It's kind of both Dragon Blood and Wild Magic. I don't see why it would be Wild Magic. Dragon Blood is what is giving the magical powers. You know, it's sort of like the Super Soldier Serum for Captain America, but with magic instead of prodigious strength. Our proficiency bonus is going to be a +6. And let's continue. Oh, I'm sorry. And our sorcery points. I'm going to put those over here. Sorc points at level 19. Hey, we get 19 of them. Yay. Starting equipment. I'm not going to bother with equipment. We're level 19. We're also a magic user who's an alchemist. We're probably going to have better than what our starting gear is going to have. You know, I put this here just because it was part of the background. This could be a sentimental dagger, a ritual dagger, and bite is just intrinsic to the character. Am I going to worry, you know, if we have a light crossbow? Not really. If we use an arcane focus, it could even be that hanky that we have from our mentor, and so during the accident, or we could even say that it's a vial of dragon's blood, or you know, the thing that spilt into the container that made us into a not Powerpuff Girl. We are going to get meta magic. We're going to get 4 different meta magics that we can take. I'll come back and look at that in just a second. From our Draconic Bloodline. We are going to get some things. Doesn't wild magic change you into some kind of animal at some roll? I don't know. Maybe there's something like that on the chart. But in this case, with all of the other evidence that we rolled up, I think this is more like he was infused accidentally on purpose, or accidentally on purpose, with dragon's blood or some other supernatural creature's blood that was part of this, you know, part of something. Maybe he was even doing a ritual to try and summon a powerful creature, a djinn, a devil, or maybe even trying to make contact. What if, instead of a wizard, what if he was working with a warlock, and the warlock was off having counsel with the patron, and it's like, well, I'm going to make a deal with a patron too, and tried to summon a patron for a pact, and it didn't quite work out that way. Pardon me. All right, Draconic Ancestry. Let's roll a d10 and find out what the ancestry is. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A bronze Draconic Bloodline. You can speak, read, and write Draconic, so here is a 6th language. Whew. We are definitely a smarty dog. Additionally, when you make a charisma check when interacting with dragons, your proficiency bonus is doubled if it applies to the check. As magic flows through your body, it causes physical traits of your dragon ancestors to emerge. At first level, your hit point maximum increases by 1 and increases by 1 again whenever you get a level in this class. Additionally, parts of your skin are covered by a thin sheen of dragon-like scales. When you aren't wearing armor, your AC equals 13 plus your dex mod. So we can either have like patches of dragon scales, or maybe the fur on our dog grows out in a metallic, like not just a bronze in color, but maybe we actually get some bronze fur, and that's acting as a natural armor to us. He was infused with the blood of a green slime growth. It was so stupidly absurd that it worked. Black Wolf, I thought I heard that mentioned. I was just thinking like wild magic went off and he was fused with the dragon's blood and the effect made him a dog. Black Wolf, that could very well be the case if we wish. This is storytelling. This is creation. This is taking the aspects, the clues, the prompts that are around us and weaving a story. And so that could very well be a case where you have a catalyst that such as a wild magic surge that ended up though making this dragon blood sorcerer. Maybe if he's studying under a sorcerer, maybe that sorcerer was or is a wild magic one. And so just something had occurred, triggered a trap, or some latent magic of the master acted as a catalyst, and that could have happened. So I'm not judging or anything, Black Wolf. If you can rationalize it, if you can write it, then make it happen. That's fine. A wire hair terrier? If we wish, yeah. So maybe a rather literal, like covered in bronze wire. Although, would a terrier be in that size category, or is that more of a lapdog? Let's see. Includes spaniels, bulldogs, and many crossbreeds. I mean, not that it even has to be because we're applying a supernatural fur effect. It could be on a. We have a bronze Labrador instead of a golden or a chocolate Labrador. We have a bronze Labrador if we really want. Oh yeah, category includes Chihuahuas. I know it's Chihuahuas. Chihuahuas, Terriers, and Maltese. Airedales and Bull Terriers would be regular. Well, the breed is still open for what you may want this to be, as we're continuing to explore the character. We are going to get Elemental Affinity, starting at 6th level. When you cast a spell that deals damage of the type associated with your Draconic ancestry, add your Charisma modifier to that damage. At the same time, you can spend 1 sorcery point to gain resistance to that damage type for an hour. So we are electric. Boogie woogie woogie, yeah. Also, hello, we get dragon wings. At 14th level, you gain the ability to sprout a pair of dragon wings from your back, gaining a flying speed equal to your current speed. You can create these wings as a bonus action on your turn. They last until you dismiss them as a bonus action. So actually, we're going to come up here, and we do have a fly speed, should we wish it, of 40. And we also have Draconic Presence. Beginning at 18th level, you can channel the dread presence of your dragon ancestor, causing those around you to become awestruck or frightened. As an action, you can spend 5 sorcery points to draw on this power and exude an aura of awe or fear to a distance of 60 feet. For 1 minute or until you lose your concentration, as if you were concentrating on a spell, each hostile creature that starts its turn in this aura must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be charmed if you awe, or frightened if you choose fear, until the aura ends. A creature that succeeds on a saving throw is immune to your aura for 24 hours. So that's what we get from our class and our subclass. It's not a lot because as a full caster, you get, I mean, your spells are your class features. So really, what would a character like this choose as meta magic? Well, they used to be meta magic feats. You know, here we have someone who's intimidating, someone who's very cocky, someone who's very confident, very intelligent here. Probably feels superior. Let's see, if we're going for the electric theme, Quicken spell could be interesting, right? We're a sprinter, so I think a Quicken spell could work, right? It seems kind of thematic. I don't think subtle spell would work because this person loves to talk. An empowered spell. That's how you assert dominance. Speak without thinking. I sold my soul for knowledge. Emotions must not cloud our logical thinking. Speaking slowly, being clear, taking time, taking the logical approach and not necessarily the whimsical, chaotic one. Maybe extended spell would be a good one. And being such a great and powerful caster, I'm kind of thinking twinned spell. There we go. And so Azrael, the meta magic are the ways that a sorcerer can influence the magic that he or she exudes. Because magic is natural to us, like blinking or whatever. Or in this case, like you chug a soda and you feel like you're going to burp. You have the power, Azrael, to modify your burp. You can burp the alphabet. You can hold it in. It might burn, make your eyes water, but you could try and hold it in and be, you know, very subtle about it. You can just project your belch and be absolutely proud of it. You can burp and kind of blow it out the side. And that way you're kind of with careful spell, you're carving out an area so that you're not affecting the friend directly in front of you because you're blowing the burp out the side. You know, if you go distance spell, that's burping and, you know, and really like putting an oomph because you want to get that burp over to your friend across the room. See? Oh, sheep's nose. You know, empowered. Empowered might be you hold it in your cheeks, right? You get a couple, like you get a burp, 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 oh, and then you let it go, and now it's like this super burp. So if you imagine magic is burping for sorcerers, I hope that makes a lot more sense. I used to do that to my dog, actually, and he would be offended. Belch like booger or don't bother, says Azrael. Well, one of the last things that we have to do is we have our chassis. Let's drop the Hemi in there. All right, we'll put a Hemi in this sorcerer. We're going to use the standard array of scores, meaning we're going to put a 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8 across the board here. I definitely think we are an intelligent creature. And charisma is probably going to be high as well, given who we are. Maybe we were fortified a bit by the potion. 15, 14, 13, 12, 10. And if we go 8 wisdom, I mean, we're proficient, or in this case, we kind of rounded it and said proficient in perception. But this would really help account if someone with a low wisdom isn't necessarily, well, perceptive or insightful to the world around them. High intelligence, low perception. I have great ideas, but I kind of mentally bumble around. And that could be how he got into this situation in the first place. Need to get some rest. All right, Black Wolf, hey, have a great night. Thank you for all the puns. A charisma 8. I mean, we could make a dump stat sorcerer. But being a butthead doesn't mean that you have a low charisma. Because being a butthead means you're still getting people's attention. Right? I mean, if that's the source of bullying or anything else, you're getting attention. It doesn't always have to be good attention. And so having a high charisma would mean that this person can deceive better and can intimidate people better because it is their presence, their mere aura that they give off. While talking about magic is belching, we come back to lowlife and the smellcasters. Yeah, I'm not very familiar with that system at all, Pneumonica. If you want to explain a little bit about that, I'd appreciate it. Cookies are done. I'm back. What did I miss? Nick Direct, we discussed how belching is like sorceress magic, and the ways that you can modify your belch are like what meta magic is, and you know other things too. We're also dropping scores in on our doggo sorcerer here. So if we do this, strength 11, charisma 15. And now we have 10 points that we can pump into our different stats. I definitely think this can go to 16. I think with as powerful and as much as he exudes himself over others, we're going to drop another 5. So this is going to be 6 of our 10 points to put us at the natural cap of 20. And the others probably just in dex. The other 4 points can go into dex. Maybe not. Hang on. He does have a bite, and the con is going to be important as well. So maybe instead we go con 14, strength 12, and then we can up our dex a little bit here by distributing it out that way. In this way, we have a charisma 5, a wisdom of -1, intelligence 3, con 2, dex 2, strength 1. Pump in all the way up till he's Sheldon Cooper. You know, if we wanted to do that and make it so, you know what, maybe he doesn't have the best defenses. That could be perfectly fine. He's just very intelligent, very charismatic, but he's not charismatic necessarily in a positive fashion. We could just go all in if you really wanted to. Right, so if we did that, here, let's go back to, we have charisma and strength. Right, so if we start with a 16, and then we put our, I'm sorry, not a 16, we start with a 15, we go with a 14. Sheldon Cooper, I would argue, has the 8 in wisdom. 13... Wait, 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. So if we do that, we're back to our 11, and we're at our 15 charisma. And so if we did want to max things out... Socially oblivious, not wise, I'd agree, says Nick Dirac. So of our 10 points, 9, 8... 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I think this would give us this kind of elitist Sheldon Cooper style doggo. If we wanted to dump something else, we could probably sacrifice. I figured I'd round up Dex. If we want to stay really true to the concept and with the rules of the standard array, I mean, we can, you know, mess around or do a point buy or something. But this would be a Sheldon Cooper sorcerer right here. That's going to give our strength of a 0 and a 0. Dex is going to be 2 across the board. Con is going to be 1. Int is going to be 4s, with the exception of Arcana and History, which are going to be 10. Those are his 2 doctorate degrees. Wisdom is going to be -1, with the exception of Perception, which is going to be 5, giving us a 152 passive, apparently. A 15 passive. So I'm just going to discreetly copy and paste this -1 to his saving throw, animal handling, insight, medicine, and survival. He is rather oblivious. And charisma, 11 save, 11 deception, and 11 intimidation, with a 5 performance and a 5 persuasion. That's very Sheldon Cooper-esque. Our doggo has earned a name now that he's no longer a set of stats. Armor class, if we're not wearing armor, is going to be 13 plus dex, so we have an AC of 15. Initiative is a dex check, so that's going to be at a +2. We have 0 dark vision. Hit points. At level 1, you begin with your maximum hit die of hit points, so that's a 6, because we're a D6 hit die class. For the remaining 18 levels of our 19, we go half +1, which is going to be 4. Then for all 19 levels, you get your con mod in bonus hit points. And for being a Dragon Blood Sorcerer, for every level of that, you get 1 bonus hit point. And so here we're looking at 19 and 19. So this is going to be 48. I'm sorry, 38. 18 times 4, so that's going to be 2, carry the 3. That's going to be 72. 80, 110, 116 hit points. Not bad for a D6 caster, is it? Our spell attacks are based off of charisma, so we have a +11 to attack. And to save against our spell effects is a 19. Cooper Tucker is the dog's name. What's the inspiration for that, Nick Dirac? I don't mind it. I just love hearing what has inspired people to make suggestions. Our small kniff, if it is dex based, we're probably going to want to use that instead. So we're going to have a +8 to hit with our knife, which is 1d4 plus 2 piercing. And our bite is going to be strength, so it's just going to be a plus 6. And by this level, it was... Oh, come on. Why do you do that? Go back up. All I want to do is click on you. Ugh. $1d8 at level 10. This is also something else. It just says plus your 1d4 plus your strength modifier damage. This supplement should be stating which kind of damage it is dealing. And so should you if you make homebrew content. Nina Tucker times Sheldon Cooper. Alright, we haven't chosen the spells. That's fine. We will choose them. But I am going to make placeholders so that when this sheet is made available on our Discord, if you want to fill it in, if you want to download it and fill it in specifically, you are welcome to do so. And if we presume that we don't rearrange the levels of our spells, which we can do when you level up, you can move your spells around as a sorcerer. It is a fixed list caster, but the list is mutable upon level ups. So if we go to spells known, see where it goes at level 1, we know 2 that are level 1. Then we know a third at level 2, but only first level spells. This is what we're gonna do. So it's gonna go level 1. Level 1. This is level 2. Level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is if we just took it, if we took our spells as they are made available. This is very modifiable if you wanted to do it on your end. So you see at 10th level, we go from 10 to 11, and then we go from 11 to 12, right, as we move into 6th level. But note now, it slows down, because we don't learn another one until 13th level. So we have 13, 15, or I'm sorry, that's 10 to 11. And then, or I'm sorry, 11, 10 to 11, we get our 12th spell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, that's our 12th spell. We get our next one available at level 13. Level 15, we get our 14th spell. And we get our 15th and final spell at level 17. And we can come back and fill that, fill in the spells. But I think we have a good idea now for our character. We have a backstory. We have a strong grasp of the personality. And it's filling in details from this point. Although, I do want you to think about what kind of a dog breed you'd like this to be. I'm going to get up and take about a 10-minute break to stretch, just to, limber up some, and have a little bit more of my drink that I was opening up over here. And when we come back, we're going to make our second doggo character of our party. TJ says, so I'm back. I just had to take a shower after overloading my brain, trying to work out How I write up the backstory for a character I'm playing in a few days. Lawful good drow druid. I rolled the Xanathar's This Is Your Life, and I have a few spicy details. If you want to share that in our RPG workshop, TJ, you know you're welcome to, and you can get a lot of other brains, be a multi-core processor. Share the load with a couple of us who might be able to come up with some interesting ideas to help you. All right, I'll be back shortly, everyone.